Shri Eknathi Bhagavat Satsang. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We'll be continuing Shri Eknathi Bhagavat, chapter 1, and we'll be continuing first from verse 3 onwards. Having thus destroyed the kings and their armies, who were a burden to the earth, through the Yadavas protected by his own arms, his own strength, the Lord of inscrutable ways thought. Though the burden of the earth is already removed to some extent, I do not think it is completely finished so long as the unconquerable race of Yadavas exist. He arranged to kill innumerable kings with their armies who were taking the sides of evil doers, were themselves behaving contrary to moral religion, and thus were simply a great burden to the earth. The quarrel between Pandavas and Kauravas was only a pretext. This is very beautiful. What is Sri Krishna Bhagavan saying here? He's saying here, through the Mahabharat war, he wanted to destroy all the people who are following the unrighteousness, means adharma. He's here to establish and destroy the adharma and establish dharma. And here what is he saying? He wanted to kill all the evildoers and also those who were taking the sides of evildoers. In this world, please understand, one is A, you can't do evil. Second, you also cannot be supporting evildoers. And if you do so, you are also going to perish. This is what Krishna Bhagavan is very clearly telling. And then he killed by hunting out so many irreligious kings, those who don't follow the religion, and their armies, that their count was not possible. Even then, the Lord Shri Krishna did not feel that the earth was totally free from burden. That was because by strengthening the Yadavas, he has killed numberless evildoers. But now those Yadavas had become unbearably uncontrollable, which to his mind did not appear right. Now here, forget about anybody else. He's talking about his own race, Yaduvansh. Now he's telling Yadavas themselves had become mighty pleased. They were filled with pride and arrogant. So what is he saying? If he were to leave their race, that is his Lord Shri Krishna's own race, they will become they will themselves become a burden on this earth. They will exploit the normal people. So he is saying that I have to destroy even the Yadavas. So he thought that unless the whole group of Yadavas is annihilated, the burden of the earth would not be really removed. And therefore, he began to think of a plan to destroy them. The fire increases by burning the camphor, but when the camphor is finished, the fire is also finished. Similarly, when other evildoers were finished through Yadavas, now the time had come for their own destruction. So with the might and the power and strength of Yadavas, he destroyed all the other evildoers. But now he is going to destroy the Yadava race itself. The banana tree grows until it bears the banana fruit. But when the fruits are ripe, the gardener fells that tree. Similarly, the whole growth and expanse which had taken place in case of Yadavas was only destined for impending total destruction. When the fruit is ripe and its sweet smell spreads, the gardener plucks the fruit and takes it away. Similarly, Sri Krishna thought that the fruit of his own race should be taken by himself only. The Yadavas had become very strong by the grace of Lord Shri Krishna. But now he himself decided to destroy them, and for that purpose he assumed the great fearsome form of the time as death. The Yadavas became very powerful, and there was no controller whose power they would have accepted. Therefore, the Lord did not find their arrogance tolerable. Now, what does this verse say here? He's very clearly saying, see, please understand, you cannot become arrogant and swelled with your power. And power is not given to exploit the poor and exploit anybody for that matter. And most important, whose time here? He's saying something very powerful. He assumed the great fearsome form of the time as death. So please understand, Lord Shri Krishna Bhagwan, that is Lord Shri Krishna Paramatma himself is time. He's a very essence of time. So he becomes the time in the form of what? Death. So he's nobody can stop him. So you need to understand, if his grace was there on Yaduvansh, that is the Yadavas clan, and he is the one who gave them that power, he also can annihilate it. That is why it is very important that we should never let the power get to head and misuse whatever is given to us. My Krishna Guruji will always teach a very powerful lesson. What is that? You have to be good to yourself and good to the world. Being your good self is very important, and we should not do anything which is unrighteousness, which is enabling us to stray away from the path of dharma. So it is very important to follow all the diktats of what is Lord Shri Krishna Bhagwan teaching us. What is the way of life? Which is what Bhagavad Gita and Uddhava Gita is all about. And in Uddhava Gita, this is Uddhava Gita, which is what Eknathi Maharaj is giving his own explanation to what Lord Shri Krishna has said. And now here we are going to learn how to live in this world following a righteous path. That is extremely important. Now, so what is he saying? The Yadavas became very powerful, and there was no controller whose power they would have accepted. So therefore, the Lord did not find their arrogance tolerable. So you can't have any of the 6 enemies. What is it? The Shadripus, which are called the Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mada, Matsaryam. So we cannot have any of these. Let it be whosoever. In this, there is another very important message. Just because they are all born, they are all part of Shri Krishna Bhagwan, doesn't mean they get spared. So please understand, the universal law, Lord Shri Krishna Bhagwan's law is same to anybody in this entire universe. Just because you're close to him or you're his family doesn't mean he's going to pardon you of any of your misdemeanors or evil doing. He doesn't accept it. And here what have they become? They have become haughty, arrogant, and swelled with pride. So next verse, that is verse 4, chapter 1, verse 4. Having always been protected by me, and thus having grown uncontrollable through prosperity, this race of Yadavas can by no means be vanished by others. Therefore, just as a bamboo groove is consumed by fire produced by the friction of the bamboos themselves, I shall destroy the Yadavas by creating internal strife among them. And then only I shall return in peace to my own eternal residence, Vaikunta. It's not, Vaikunta, but his residence is Golok Vrindavan. If I go to my own eternal home, these Yadavas will break off, turning towards bad practices because of the pride of money and extreme sullenness due to prosperity are the main cause to make people attracted towards evil ways. This is again very important. What is he saying here? He's saying, see, what is the bad practice they'll get into? They will turn towards bad practices because of what? Most important, pride of money. So have you seen people who have a lot of money in their world? They think no end of themselves. They misbehave. They are swelled with pride and arrogance. So it is important that money is just a facilitator in this world. We are not here to show off anything. It is the grace of the God because of whom we have been blessed with it. So we should always use it for the right purpose. Now here what happens? What is he saying? Because the pride of money and extreme sullenness due to prosperity are the main cause to make people attracted towards evil ways. So when you have little money also, evil comes with it. It's actually not, Lakshmi is not bad. Okay, but it is in the hand of evildoers, it is bad. And also what happens? It attracts evil. So it is under your control that it has to be. So that is why my Guruji has always taught one very beautiful lesson. See, wealth is to establish dharma. The money has to be used for a good cause. Yes, we all have to have our basic requirements, whatever the food, clothing, shelter, and little bit of that's required to live in your life. But beyond that, the money is given so that we can do good in this world. Charity is the foundation. Okay, that's something he's going to talk about. Krishna Bhagwan is going to talk about it. So it's very important that we put good use of the money that is given to us, not just to enjoy that thing for our own selves, our own selfish benefits. That's something you should not do. So these have become great, powerful chariot riders on my support only. And in this world, there's nobody who can challenge them. So I myself should destroy their impudence. Now, what is he saying again here? It is only because of the grace of Lord Shri Krishna Bhagavan that they have become very strong, powerful. And if it's not for him, nothing moves in this world. So if he also cannot say, I am somebody great, I have the knowledge, I have the power, this I cannot come in. The moment this I comes in, you're destroyed. And who's going to destroy here? Krishna Bhagavan himself will destroy it. So, they cannot become overcome by God like Indra, monsters, demons, and even Danavas. And if they are left behind by me, I will have to come back myself for destroying them. So, the Lord Shri Krishna thought that the whole race of Yadavas should go into the jaws of death while I am witnessing it, and took the decision finally. The bamboo grove had grown much by the grace of Lord Shri Krishna, as if by its water. In it fell the spark of displeasure of Shri Krishna, in the form of the curse uttered by the sage, that is Durvasa Muni, due to deceitful pranks played by some Yadavas. The spark was kindled and burned large by the curse of Brahmins. It would be the cause for destruction of all through internal conflicts and the anger of the fire of death god. Thus, the Lord Shri Krishna planned to destroy the whole race of Yadavas and to go by his own will to his eternal abode after accomplishment of the last phase of his plan. So here, who's destroying his own race? Lord Shri Krishna Bhagavan himself. So please understand, his law is a universal law. It is something that we all have to abide by. And when a man goes off the path, then he comes to establish dharma. This is the truth. Time and again, he takes form on this earth to establish dharma and destroy the evildoers and protect his devotees. So next verse, chapter 1, Eknathi, Shri Eknathi Bhagavat, verse 5. O King Parikshit, having thus resolved, the Lord of truthful decisions brought about the annihilation of his own race through the curse of Brahmins as a pretext or apparent cause. Thus Lord Shri Krishna thought to destroy his own race himself and thus took a decision of total genocide. Now, how this task can be executed? About this, the Lord of the world thought that by the curse of a Brahmin, this total destruction will be brought about easily. The great hero of Yadavas thought, when this will be done as the final undertaking of the adventures to be completed during this period of incarnation, I will go to my own abode by my own peculiar Maya. The Lord Shri Krishna was God who had taken physical body of his own will and not compelled by karma like other jivas. And he was also very beautiful. All his qualities and actions were very pure. He was the totality of Brahman, full incarnation and savior of this world. So how beautifully it's described. So what is he saying here? Please understand, it is him who is going to, everything happens by the will of the divine Lord. It is he who executes everything. So don't be under the misconception that, oh, I am saved of something. I am someone great in this world. I can do this, I can do that. Nothing, even a blade of grass does not move with the will, without the will of the divine Lord. So why does a man behave so petty? He thinks, oh, I am the doer. I can do this, I can do that. No, everything is because of the divine being. It is his will alone. Whatever the knowledge we have, whatever that we do, everything happens under his grace alone. And this one thing, man fails. And he claims, oh, this is my money. I earn this. You cannot earn that money if God has not bestowed it on you. You cannot get that knowledge if Lord Almighty has not given his grace to get that knowledge. Nothing is yours. So why does man become haughty with pride and arrogance just because he's been given those things? My Guruji has always taught, you know what he's taught? See, Rajma, the place, that's the power, the position and wealth is given in hands of people. Why? So that they can do good. Like here, the kings were given those powers so that they can rule the kingdom very well and protect their people and ensure that the progress happens. But what happens? They go into all the evil doings. So when the evil doings happens, then the Lord himself has to incarnate. Similarly, today, if you look at the state of affairs in our world, everything is going towards destruction. People have lost the logical thinking. Forget about logic. Logic doesn't exist in whatever is happening. There is wars happening. There are so many, evil doings are happening in this world. So what are we doing? So Krishna Bhagavan is going to manifest. Please understand. He is present among us. But do you know? You don't know. And he is going to establish dharma here. This is his verdict. This is his word. But human beings don't believe in the scriptures also. Why? Because Maya has taken over. This is Kali Yuga, Kali's age. And we are consistently doing adharmic activities. That is what has happened to us. So don't ever do this kind of actions. So my Guruji will always say, the power, the position, the money is given so that we can do good in this world, and not just for, exploiting and filling our pockets, filling our own bellies. No. And it's not for just, saving it for our, my family, my people, my friends, all these kind of my relatives. That doesn't exist. Everybody is here for a cause, for a reason, for a purpose, and we have to serve our purpose very well. And if we cannot do so, then there is a problem in the system. So let us continue. Eknathi Bhagavat, chapter 1, verse 6. The Lord Shri Krishna had attracted the eyes of the people by his transcendent, beautiful personality, which disparaged the beauty of others. He has attracted the hearts of those by his speech, when they remembered it, and had suspended by his feet the actions of those who saw them. The Lord Shri Krishna was the most sacred of all auspicious things. He was a great source of happiness to the ladies of Gokul. He was virtually a ferry to take people to the other shore of liberation, and his beauty was celestial beyond description. Yes. He was the divine wish tree, fulfilling the wishes of his devotees. He was most attractive by his blue color, like a cloud. His name was famous in all the three worlds. Thus, the Lord Shri Krishna, whose name was Purushottama, the supreme man or the perfect man, really looked as his name indicates. Goddess Lakshmi was enamored completely by the beauty of Lord Shri Krishna. Cupid, the god of love, took birth as his son, Pradyumna. Then why to talk of Lord Indra and the moon for comparison? His name purifies the three worlds. He burns the demons. He is called Purna Kama, one who has finished all his desires by fulfillments. But he is easily available to his devotees anytime. How sweet. This is the truth. But do you have that kind of devotion? Are you taking his name 24/7? That is most important. Krishna Bhagavan can be easily attained, but you need to have that level of devotion. Forget about any other gods. Krishna Bhagavan is the one who's always just. And especially to women, he's there, always the lover boy. And you can, as we go along, and it's not in the scripture, but at least in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a very beautiful verse where it describes the Ashtabhav, the 8 feelings or the 8 forms of bhakti in which you worship Lord Shri Krishna Bhagavan. So for example, his mother, that's Yashoda Maya, she loved him as the mother. And he was so much enamored by that, he enchanted her. He was playing full role of being the child to that mother. She experienced that motherly love with him. So to each, for Arjuna, he was his best friend and the charioteer. And he was always giving him guidance. And Arjuna was always attracted to Krishna Bhagavan. He used to consider him his best friend. And then till he realized that he's Lord himself. And he used to be so normal with people. So you can't realize that you are talking to the Lord Almighty, because he puts his veil. That's called Maya. And he doesn't allow you to see him. You need to have that extreme devotion. That is the single pointed devotion. An unflinching faith in him, to be able to see through him. And only with his grace alone can you experience him. So whatever beauty was in the three worlds had being attracted, come to the Lord Shri Krishna. Or you may say that by only some part of his beauty, the three worlds had become really beautiful, which is also a fact. He was the decoration of all beauty, the very reservoir of all the glamour of the world, and by the charm of his body, the whole world appeared more beautiful. Absolutely. Just his presence makes the world beautiful, and every existence of our life, the very existence of your life, will become so beautiful. It's magical. You need to experience that love. He was the essential ecstasy of the ecstasy, or he was the highest happiness, making happy the very happiness of all. And in him, the rest itself got rest. This very, very, poetic way of expression. So, what is Eknath Maharaj saying here? That he was the highest happiness, making happy the very happiness of all. And he's saying, and in him, the rest itself got rest. Means what? The rest also needs rest. So that's the kind of, you find your solace, I can say. There's no words to describe this. You just have to feel it. The moment you come in presence of this great Almighty, you feel some kind of, you take refuge. And when you take refuge, what happens? You feel some kind of solace. There is a satisfaction. You feel secure. You feel, oh, I have this grace. Somebody is there to protect me. He's always there for me. That's the kind of a feeling you get. It's even, you might not even feel that with your mother. He's beyond, even the motherly description cannot fit him. He's beyond any of the mothers put together. So that's the kind of feeling you get, and you have to experience this. No words adequately can describe this. He's ever protecting his devotees. Please understand, he might not be physically present, just his grace is good enough. You might live in any part of the world, just remembering him and thinking about him is good enough. He's always there. He says in Bhagavat Gita, nothing shall befall my devotees, and there will be nothing short in the house of my devotees, for I am very much there to protect them, come what may. So this is the word which Krishna Bhagavan gives, but you have to be that kind of a devotee to him. He was the abstract become incarnate, or the urn of all the beauty of the three worlds, and he was the giver of beauty to beauty. Yes, he's a personification of everything that exists. He was the beauty to the beauty. He was the giver of beauty to the beauty. This is such a beautiful phrase, how Eknath Maharaj is explaining. Imagine the beauty itself becomes shy in front of him, or the beauty itself will reduce his beauty in front of the beauty of Lord Shri Krishna Bhagavan. How beautiful is that? That means it is indescribable. You can't, there is no words to adequately describe the beauty of Lord Shri Krishna Bhagavan. That is what he's trying to say. His beauty is beyond any human mind's imagination, or any human mind's can and understanding. There is no words that you can use to describe his beauty. He's so beautiful. It's just an adjective that I can say, but can I describe it? No. That is why it says even all the Vedas fail to describe who this Lord Shri Krishna Bhagavan is, and that is the truth. The solid ghee does not change its nature, though it is made liquid. Similarly, the totality of Brahman remains intact, though the abstract assumes a form. When one looks at Lord Shri Krishna, the very looking ends in that peace. The action of looking together with one who looks becomes shy and turns into the reality of itself. When one looks at him, the vision gives a belch of satisfaction, and itself becoming its own accompaniment, enjoys the bliss of his being. So just looking at him, you get your heart is filled, it's swelling with joy. You can't describe what is happening inside of you. You feel like you're floating, the hairs on your body is horripilating, it's standing. There's a lot of things that happen. You don't know why you feel like crying. There's so many things that happen just looking at him. Just in his presence, you feel that magical thing. So you're trying to wonder what is happening. That's the magic that happens, but we don't understand why that's who he is. Once the tongue gets the sweet taste of the name of Lord Shri Krishna, it drops the pleasure of earthly things, because the very quality of enjoying the taste disappears. It takes the taste of one who enjoys the taste and leaves him. His charm is extraordinary, and the sweetness of the charm defeats the sweetness of nectar. Absolutely, yes. He's very charming, Thus, the tongue is completely satisfied in the charm of Hari. How is he charming? He's got a very unique look, He's got a lot of expressions. And he's very mischievous. His expressions are so beautiful. And he has various kinds of expressions. And he just does as an enactment, which is very natural. See, because Lord, he's a personification of love. So every other expression. It could be his, like when he's teaching, he's the greatest teacher that ever exists in this universe. And when he teaches, he is full-fledged, he's giving all different emotions. Sometimes he exudes like he's angrily speaking to you. Sometimes he's very stern and he's very fiery. And then sometimes he tells you in a very nice way. When he talks sweet language, it's like everybody's just swooning and melting, especially all the women. Because Lord Shri Krishna Bhagavan is a woman's beloved. They look at him as their beloved. Those who, like the gopis of Vrindavan, they consider the Lord as their beloved. And when he just plays the flute, they swoon in his love, in that thing, in the melody of his flute. They just run hither, wanting to be around him. And that's what happens. So when the Lord talks, it's just magical. Something happens in your heart when he's describing this. Everybody gets enticed with him. And that is so beautiful. And you are enchanted, enticed, whatever you want to say. I can use all adjectives, but I will still not be able to describe this adequately. That is the truth. So let's continue. By the touch of the wind of Lord Shri Krishna's devotion, all the charm in the worldly life disappears. The nose does not like any other fragrance than the sweet breeze coming from the body of Lord Shri Krishna. This is so beautiful. Actually, yes. Now here is something, very unique. So when my Krishna Guruji, there used to be times when, he used to give the satsangs and we were talking. And it is very true to understand those little experiences from his body, like my Guruji's body. The fragrance of tulsi would exude suddenly. The fragrance of sandal would come up, and other beautiful, like all these lovely flowers, the fragrant flowers like jasmine, champak, those different smells would come. And the whole room would be filled with that fragrance. And it's a very divine experience that you can actually, this is truth. You actually can experience. And to understand this truth about who's the Lord, these kind of experience happen. But for that, you need to have that kind of single-pointed devotion. That devotion, the bhakti is so important for you to experience those things. It is all about that absolute faith, complete surrender, unconditional pure love and exclusive devotion. And when you have that level of devotion, you can experience these things. And that smell, that fragrance, not the smell, that's a fragrance, is so intoxicating, you'll wonder what happened. And many people have experienced this. And this is what we have to understand and how you can relate. So what happens? He's saying that the nose does not like any other fragrance than the sweet breeze coming from the body of Lord Shri Krishna, which is so true. The smell, the fragrance, the flower, the nose, the object of the smell, and the perceiver of the smell come for rest in the fragrance of Lord Shri Krishna. This is something very unique that happens because all your senses go blank because what it experiences cannot be described to words. And that's what happens. And then you wonder, what are these senses all about? It is about experience the sweetness of Lord Shri Krishna Bhagavan. Even if you eat the food which you used to like, you will no more like it. But the same thing given as a prasad from the hand of Lord Shri Krishna or the Naivedya which is offered to the Lord, and then you partake of it as prasad, that will be the most yummiest food. So this something very strange happened. So once I had been to Mumbai, and there I went to the ISKCON temple in Juhu. And my Guruji said, go and, have darshan and then get me that prasad. Then, they offer a Naivedya. It's called the Mahaprasad, which is offered to, Maha Naivedya, which is offered to Krishna Bhagavan. So I went over there and, it's just the grace. And when I went there, I got those beautiful Naivedya. It's a Maha Naivedya, which was given as a prasad. So I got that Mahaprasad. And then I came and then I said, I just felt in my heart, I want to eat a vada pav over here. So there was someone, my Guruji's association, and he was there to taking me around, and I went over there. And he said, no, you can have here. I just expressed, I just feel like eating something. Then I saw the vada pav. Oh my God, I feel like eating vada pav. So initially I felt in my heart, but I did not express. So when I went over there and I said, okay, I'll eat this vada pav. I was very hungry after a long day, after work. And I got that vada pav, and I have to say this. I'm not tasted such a yummy vada pav in my entire life, whatever the few times I've eaten. And that was so yummy. And I said, can I have one more? And that's what happened, because and that in that there was no ginger, garlic, nothing, which usually they all add all those condiments, I mean all those spices. But here there was nothing of those. It's very simple. But since it was the prasad of Krishna Bhagwan, it tasted so yummy. And I then called up my Guruji and said, you know what, I've not eaten a vada pav like this forever in my life. And even to date, I don't think I've eaten something like that. It was so beautiful. It was so delicious. That is the love of God. That's His blessing. That's His love, which makes it so yum. And that experience was amazing, because there was nothing, very simple food. It had none of all those things, all the extra things that they usually give along with that. It was just was simple, that bread, and with that, the potato stuffing, that vada, and the vada, that's the, it's made of a basin batter, and with that, the what do you call that, potatoes mix, which is dipped in that batter, and it's fried. That's all. And a small, the bread, it's called the pav, and it was so yummy. And even to date, I feel, oh my God, that's real. That's love. That is Krishna Bhagwan's blessing, and that I could experience something like that. That was very unique. So these are the kind of things that happen. And when when you can go and get this, when you go out in this world and when you seek Him, some kind of this experience come about. But that happens only with your devotion. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's continue. By the speech, by the touch of the body of Lord Shri Krishna, the trinity of the body, the holder of the body, and the sense of being a body disappears. It is the wonder that the body itself forgets that it is a body. The magic of Lord Shri Krishna was such that the hardness of the hard thing disappeared. The softness of the soft thing disappeared. And the touch lost the sense of touch, which is so beautiful. You don't even know what is touching. The touch lost the sense of touch. By the speech which tried to describe him in its effort to relate to the reader, and that which it reads actually said was, this is not that, this is not that. And by wiping away that statement also, it turned the words into silence. Yes, I mean, like I was just trying to express or describe. You can't, because nothing can describe him. No words can stand there. There are no words which can adequately describe those experiences. You just have to feel it. You have to experience it yourself. So then the talk was stopped. By the speech which tried to describe him in its effort to relate to the reader, and that which it reads actually said, this is not that. And by wiping away that statements also, it turned the words into silence. So what is required? It's just silence. You just know. Silence is all that is there, because no words can describe him adequately. Then the talk was stopped. It was not known what happened to the person who talked. Thus the speaker and the spoken word did not remain separate by the name of Krishna. When the mind meditates on the feet of Sri Krishna, it forgets itself and remains quiet at the feet of the Lord. There was no memory of the consciousness, the thinking and the thought. When there is meditation upon the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the consciousness turns into totality of absolute Brahman. The footprints of Lord Shri Krishna on the ground are extraordinary. When we see those footprints, both the action and inaction are wiped away, and the illusion of the trinity of action, actor, and acting is totally destroyed. The illusion does not remain. When we see his footprints, the chain of action or inaction are broken, because those footprints wipe away Maya, which is the central cause of action, not allowing even an iota of great illusion. When we see the footprints of Lord Shri Krishna following the cows going to the forest, the karma disappears together with the doer of karma, and the word inaction even does not remain. Thus, the action itself becomes nil. When one hears his fame, the listener loses the quality of listening. The speaker loses his role of speaker, and only through listening, the Brahman becomes an actuality. So what is being said? Just his lotus feet. They're magical. We think, oh, some human being. No, it's magical. So, first time when I went with my Krishna Guruji to Vrindavan, okay, when we just touched that holy land, the first thing he ever does, and of course we all do, is when he puts his feet on the ground, he'll just he'll just touch the dust of that holy land, and we take the dust and offer it on our forehead. You know why? Because that's the essence. It's not dirt, it's not mud, it's anything. It's the land where Lord Sri Krishna Bhagavan, where his lotus feet was, he was born there. He walked that whole Vraj, the entire Vrindavan, the Vraj Bhumi. In Mathura, he was born. In the whole Vrindavan, he stayed there. He played with gopis. There's so many beautiful pastimes. So that land is Pavitra Bhumi, means the land of purity, the land of godliness. It's so beautiful. I know what we do when we touch the dust from our Gurudev's feet and we offer it to our head, because that is who he is. And that dust is so important, because that is what will destroy everything. See, these things are not understood. We think, oh, this is not real. No, but this is the truth. As is your faith, so are your experiences. It's only with faith can you see this divinity, not for faithlessness. If you don't have faith, you can't experience it. So it is not, faith is not 99.99%. It is absolute. It is 100% faith. It's absolute conviction. Yes, this is Lord Almighty. That's what faith, that faith will make you that faith will give you those experiences. So with that, we have completed until verse 6. We'll stop here and continue from verse 7 tomorrow. Thank you for joining the Shri Eknathi Bhagavat Satsang. Have a good day and good evening to you all. God bless.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, Rajma.
Thank you, Rajma.